Hey, what's going on? It's Coach Keg here in the bedroom to talk to you about the importance of sleep. Sleep is one of the most critical things that we can do as an athlete. If you want to maximize your performance on the field or court, if you want to maximize your grades in the classroom to help you to get a better scholarship opportunity in college, then making sure you get enough sleep regularly is super important. Sleep will help you do a number of things. It will boost your immune system, reduce the risk of getting sick. It will increase your ability to have better mental capacity, reducing that brain fog that you have in the morning. It will also allow you to recuperate properly so you can maximize your performance in the training room and also on the field or court. And additionally, it will reduce your risk of getting injured by up to 1.8 times. Amazing. You see, sleep is the opportunity for us physically to allow our muscles to recuperate. You see, we go out onto the field or court, we go into the training room and work out, and we tear our muscles down. And this is the place that we recuperate. We need to make sure that we're getting a great quality and quantity of sleep to recuperate. Number two, our brain starts to rewire itself during our sleep. That's when it takes all the information from our classroom, it takes everything that we're learning from a playbook, and it puts it into a new pathway to allow us to think better and more clearly. And last, it reduces our risk of getting injured. Sleep is a major component of making sure that we keep our injuries to a minimum. You may get beat up a little bit, but the big risk injuries go down when we make sure that we get enough sleep. Now, for an athlete, sleeping is huge. So how much should you get? The goal is between 8 and 10 hours. 8 and 10 hours for someone that is in high school. Now, a lot of you may be saying like, oh my goodness, there's no way. How in the world would I ever get that? You see, you may have AP classes and honors classes that have heavy homework loads. You have, you're playing for maybe your school team, you're playing for a club team, you're practicing, you are doing extra training outside of that. Your schedule is packed. I want you to know, I understand your schedule is busier than any generation before. But that doesn't mean that we just blow this stuff off. So I want to go over a couple things with you that can help you to make sure that you get the best quality of sleep. Number one, make sure that you don't sleep with your phone by your bed. Don't plug it in and put it by your nightstand. Getting your phone out of the bedroom is probably the number one thing you can do to increase your quantity and quality of sleep. We don't want to sleep with the phone by the bed. Number one, it is drawing your eyes. Our phone, the blue light in your phone, draws your eyes to it. That's why looking at your phone is so satisfying, right? If you turn on night vision mode, your phone becomes way less fun to look at. So make sure you don't sleep with your phone by your bed. And parents, if you're watching this, don't allow your kids to take their phone into the bedroom. Okay? I know this is something that everybody battles with. I have a teenager and we wrestle with this, and you go, look, the phone just doesn't go in the bedroom. Set up a nighttime routine where you put the phone away 30 minutes to an hour before you go to bed. Put it in the same place every single night. Put it in the office, put it in the kitchen, put it somewhere else so that way you don't go to the phone at night. But secondly, we also don't go to the phone in the morning because we don't want to scroll, we don't want to hit the snooze button. When we wake up in the morning, we want to get up, put your feet on the floor and get moving. That's how you start your day off well. Next, we want to make sure that we reduce the amount of sleep or amount of light that is going on in your room. We want to make sure that if you need blackout curtains or if you need a sleep mask, do something to reduce the amount of ambient light in your room, whether that is an alarm clock or whether it's a hallway light. Reduce the amount of light that is in your room. Next is making sure that you have yourself set up throughout the course of the day. We no longer can procrastinate. No longer can we put it off and go like, well, I'll do my homework later or I'll study later. I just need a break. Look, being consistent in your wake time, in your sleep time, and making sure you have patterns of when I study and when I don't, and when I train and when I work out and when I practice and when I don't. Those are things that are great life lessons. And look, you're younger, you don't have to have everything perfectly mapped out and have an amazing calendar, but you do. If you're gonna have a higher expectation and more class load, then you're gonna have to have some sort of organizational skill so that you can make sure that you have plenty of downtime and rest time, and also that your homework and studying and things that you're not doing around sports doesn't cut into your sleep time. Last, I wanna make sure to make this very clear. Make sure that you are not consuming caffeine in large quantities, and certainly make sure you're not consuming caffeine 8 hours before you go to bed. Caffeine is a tricky one. A lot of people use caffeine. They use, pre-workouts or all kinds of stuff to make sure that they, stay awake and they're alert and it makes them feel good. I want to tell you, number one, I think if you get appropriate amount of sleep, you will reduce your need for caffeine. That is huge. And number two, reducing that caffeine load will reduce your overall anxiety. It will reduce the stress that you put on your body. It will allow you to get into regular sleep patterns. Because here's the problem. A lot of times, we take caffeine, we get a Bang, we get a Rain, we get a Starbucks, we go to Dunkin', whatever, and we drink that and we're like, oh, it's just caffeine, it's great. Even soda, right? Drinking those things. And we don't think about the impacts that caffeine have on our body. But caffeine's gonna keep us awake. It's gonna make us stay up later. Even if you're like, oh, well, I could drink a coffee and go straight to bed. Well, you may be able to sleep, but your quantity of sleep is not going to be very good. So reduce the amount of caffeine that you're intaking if you are. Because if you take caffeine and you don't sleep well, then you wake up the next day and you're tired and you're groggy, your brain's not operating optimally, and then guess what? You're gonna reach for more caffeine. And then it's this vicious cycle of where you need caffeine to survive. But every time you start to take in more caffeine, it makes you more awake later on, reduces your sleep, increases your anxiety, increases your stress. So make sure that you are not consuming caffeine in large quantities. And if you can, don't do it at all. Because if you get sleep, if you get an appropriate amount of sleep, you're going to be way better off. You're going to be rested and you're going to be ready to get on the field or court and to perform your best. So I cannot stress enough the importance of sleep. Now, I know you're not going to be able to sleep 8 to 10 hours every single night and everything's going to be perfect. Some nights you're going to be up a little bit later, I understand. But making sure that on the whole, on your average, that you're getting that amount of sleep throughout the course of the week. If that's 8 hours, you're going to have 56 hours of sleep throughout a 7-day-a-week average, right? If you get more, then it's going to be more. But sleep is super important. Make sure your quality is high. Get the phone out of the bedroom. Don't drink caffeine 8 hours before you go to bed. Make sure your room is set up temperature-wise and that you have reduced the amount of light that is in your room, okay? This is something that's going to help you to increase and maximize your performance on the field or court and reduce your risk of injury. So make sure you're getting your sleep. Let's go be great today.